I'm muttering to myself. Sorry, Biff. We're going to start talking about coffee. That's all. I'm going to ask you how you like your coffee. I don't think I've even looked at Wise Brothers yet. I actually slept pretty good last night, but that meant I didn't really get into all the show. God, I hate look at this look on my, God, I look terrible. Every time I look up and see myself on screen, jeez. Okay. Now we'll just start off with a little talk about coffee, that's all.
And adults. Highland Sports is also the hottest destination for birthday parties and other events. So come challenge yourself on our play climb and enjoy your favorite virtual reality game in the arcade. No memberships required, so visit highlandsports.com to find your next entertainment experience and get ready to reach new heights.
Calls and conversations continue in less than 3 minutes as the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues after this.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, and I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I'm living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I said I'm living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
Does your dog need groomed or walked? Are you looking for a pet sitter or dog boarding options? If so, call Dirty Paws, Wheeling's newest pet care service, providing the Ohio Valley with everyone's pet care needs. Check us out on Facebook at Dirty Paws WHG or call 304-639-7754.
Does this current crisis leave you wondering how to pay your bills? Well, a lot of people are struggling right now. I'm attorney Tom McIntyre. Call me today to schedule your telephone or video conference meeting, and I will send you a copy of my new book about bankruptcy, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. Call 877-456-4155. Together, we will figure out what to do now and what to do when this is over. We will get through this together.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection.
Hey, add a little excitement this football season and bet all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. That's right, #1. Their app is so simple to use. They've got great odds, exclusive promos to let you get more action out of every game day. Right now, FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Just place a bet on any game, and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back if you don't win. Seriously, there's no strings attached. Just place any bet you want. If you win, you keep the cash. If you lose, you'll get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in bonus site credit. So you can take another shot at the end zone on the house. Or you can see for yourself, risk-free. If you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started and be sure to sign with the promo code WKKX so they know that we sent you. You must be 21 plus, present in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or West Virginia. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
Hello, I'm Ruling Fire Chief Larry Helms. As our city and region get back to business, it's extremely important to continue the following specific health guidelines to stop the spread of COVID-19. This virus is highly contagious and is more deadly than the flu. Please wear a mask or face covering in public, wash your hands more often, socially distance yourself as much as possible, and by following these guidelines, it potentially could save your life.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster. Weather look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Under partly sunny skies, temperatures are near 75 for the daytime high, near 52 for the overnight reading under partly cloudy conditions. We'll call it a breezy, cooler day under mostly sunny skies for your Friday, with highs near 66. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
Roger that.
It's Thursday.
Why even call it Thursday? Problem? We have pizza on Thursday.
Places, please. Quiet down.
Here's a complete disc jockey show with all the modern pace of today's exciting radio.
Good morning. Let's get started.
Seriously, let's go.
This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe and Brad Leonard behind the board in the producer's chair.
Here is a look ahead at what we are talking about today on this Thursday edition of the show. Federal court has okayed Wheeling's plan to dismantle homeless camps, but there were some strict guidelines put in effect. We'll talk about that. While several council members earlier this week suggested there needs to be a more coordinated campaign to deal with homelessness in the Friendly City, putting the city in the mix along with nonprofit agencies. Among those advocating for that, Councilwoman Rosemary Ketchum. She's with us to offer her thoughts on the issue this morning. Governor Justice, again, hey, here's a big surprise. Governor Justice tweaks the COVID plans again. This is the day that ends in Y. He has a press conference and he tweaks our plans, apparently. Governor Justice tweaks the COVID plans again. A lot of it has to do with Monongalia County and WVU and so on. Brad McElhenney helps us take a look at that and other issues statewide. A hurricane area resident is taking the state to court over its use of executive authority to shut businesses down. And while I am in support of the governor's philosophy, not specific actions, but philosophy, in his use of executive action, as a layman, not a lawyer, I think there may be some value to the lawsuit. We will talk about that. Ohio County's COVID numbers are still going the wrong way. Ohio County seems to be in the gold category now, and we are heading towards orange. But school officials do plan to return to a 4-day in-seat class situation beginning Monday. We'll talk about that. In sports, the NFL is losing big bucks, not surprisingly. With so few fans in the stands, they're going to try and find ways to bring more fans back into the stadiums. We'll talk about that. And the Big Ten is back. We'll have a look at that coming up in a bit. Bill DeFabio is back as well. He's with us to have our Ohio Valley Morning Sports Report. And, of course, Tony Caridi coming by with the Daily Mountaineer Report to take a look at the Mountaineers. So we have a lot to do sports-wise today as well. Weather-wise, we are looking for a partly sunny day today after the morning fog burns off. Temperatures, a seasonal high of 77 during the day today. Maybe, Zach says, a stray sprinkle during the day. That's just a possibility. But all in all, a pretty nice day today. 55 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 55 degrees and foggy here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. And 55 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group studios downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. 7:13 after the hour. I am looking at myself on the TV screen, our Facebook, YouTube feed. I look terrible. Now, here's the deal. Yesterday, I looked like the madman of Montana. All right. Yesterday, I had. Hold on, I'm looking up something here. Something is happening here. Okay. Oh, I saw a text line. I was checking it, and that is exactly what this texter is asking. The texter says, "Oh, great gravy man, where's your so-called beard?" Yes. So yesterday I looked like the wild man of Montana. And my beard had been full, and it was, little wings flopping out, and it was just, I looked like a crazy man. No comments now. No comments. I just say because of the beard and my hair was long, because I had not had a chance to get to the barber. I've been to the barber once since COVID started, and then I made an appointment, and some things had happened on my way to the barber shop, and I couldn't make it, so I finally got around to it yesterday. And I'm looking at myself on the TV. Oh, I hate this look, though. Without the beard, my face looks so, I don't know what the word to use is. I look so narrow, so thin. I know some of you are saying you'll never look thin, Monroe, but I don't like this look at all. Plus, I'm always proud of my hair, because one old man's thing that has never happened to me is losing my hair, but looks to me like the hairline's receding too. God, I can't look at myself. What's that line from? Turn away, I am hideous. God, I just, ugh. Oh my, I look like Skeletor or something. Yeah. Well, if you want to see Skeletor in the morning, turn on your Facebook feed, Facebook Live on my page, Facebook Live on my page, or Facebook Live on the Watchdog page, or easier and even simpler, go to YouTube, look up the Watchdog. We have a very own YouTube channel now, so you just subscribe to the YouTube channel, and it'll automatically pop up on your screen every time we go live. But I don't like this look. I don't like this look at all. Yesterday was only my second time this year to go to a barber. Early part of the year I hadn't gone there because I was just recovering from the December medical problems. Then COVID came along and you couldn't go see a barber. Finally, when they opened up barbers, it took a while to get in. My barber was so busy. Well, my barber had died, of course. His son took over. And so I finally got in a few months ago. And got things trimmed up and looking reasonably good. And then again, I missed an appointment, so I had another one yesterday. Jeez. So this is only the second time in the entire year of 2020 that I've actually had a haircut, a beard trim, and so on. Biffy, how often do you go to the barber?
About once every 3 or 4 months.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
But your hair never looks ragged. I mean, not, but when I wait that long, like I did up until yesterday, my hair, I get to be all scraggly, and my hair's all over the place, and my beard looks terrible. You never do that. You must take actually good care of your hair, I suppose.
I do have good hair, but if you look from December, which was the last time I got it, and I was supposed to get one in, I think, March. Like you said, when they closed everything, it wasn't until probably about May when everything was okay to open again. And my hair in the back, when it gets long like that, it starts to curl. So I knew I was ready. And plus, it just goes. My hair grows quick. Like one day it'll be okay, and then like 2 or 3 days later, all of a sudden, it's just like a shrub. It just takes off and goes. But yeah, within a couple of days. But no, I mean, unless there's a long layoff in between, it's usually about 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months. I wonder what our listeners, and I'm asking really more guys than women here. Guys, how long do you wait in between hair appointments? Of course, I guess it depends on how quickly your hair grows too. Again, my hair does grow fast and grows. Again, I'm happy with this. I do have good hair. Although again, looking at the picture here, it's not as good as I thought it was. But anyway, text me 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. How often do you get a haircut? Maybe not in 2020 because of all the COVID situations, but as a general rule, is it? I used to always try for every 4 to 5 weeks. That's what I would aim for. And that was pretty good because if it gets stretched out to 6 or 7, it wasn't too bad. Again, now it's been months in between. So, anyways, if you have thoughts on that, I'm curious what everybody else does. 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600, or the CityNet hotline is 304-232-8255, 304-232-TALK. I'm trying to keep the frog out of my throat this morning. Still there a little bit, but I'm starting off with some coffee today. I usually start off with Dr. Pepper, and I have some here, but a little hot liquid going down the throat is good. What are you drinking this morning, Biffy?
Actually, I don't have nothing right now. I had a little bit of water this morning, but I may go coffee. I went coffee yesterday morning, so maybe later on here I might get a cup.
How do you take your coffee? Do you just like it black, or do you put cream in it, sugar in it? Do you like the flavored coffees? How do you prefer your coffee?
Normally in the morning, it's usually a couple packs, maybe about 2 or 3 those little packs of sugar, and about 2 or 3 just two tablespoons of creamer. I gotta have just a little bit of flavoring, nothing. A
little bit of flavor, yeah.
Yeah, nothing big.
If the coffee, unless the coffee is bad, now every once in a while you go to a restaurant and the coffee they give you it's like drinking diesel fuel. Not that I've ever had diesel fuel to drink, but it tastes really bad. If it's so bad that the coffee I can really stand it, I'll throw in some cream and sugar. I'm a black coffee guy. I like black coffee. Now, when I first started drinking coffee as a younger man, I always would put some cream and sugar in there because I wanted to, make it more palatable to me. And if I can get flavored coffee, I do like flavored coffee. Yesterday at our staff meeting, one of our team members was having hazelnut coffee. Man, it smelled good. Coffee generally I think smells good, but that hazelnut flavor smelled really, really good. When I can get a good flavored coffee, I will do that. But generally speaking, I would prefer mine black. A new survey out on our coffee preferences, and interestingly enough, and it did it state by state. So of the 50 states, people in 42 states prefer their coffee, your way, Biff, cream and sugar. Only 5 states prefer their coffee black. 2 states prefer iced coffee. And 1 state, I don't have the state by state list in front of me, just the totals here, because I'd be curious who it is. 1 state prefers lattes. They like a latte. Now, I like a latte, don't get me wrong, but to me that's a little treat. That's not my normal coffee. I don't want a latte every morning. Sometimes I just want coffee. Just give me some coffee. 42 states prefer their coffee with cream and sugar, and that includes West Virginia. We are among those who have cream and sugar as our favorite choice. As I said, 5 states like black coffee. I do have a list of that in case you're curious. Nevada, Wyoming, New Mexico, Montana, and North Dakota. Basically out west. They like it called, I like my coffee hot and black. 2 states prefer iced coffee. That is Alaska and Idaho. And I was wrong. I do have a list of who. The top choice for latte, the 1 state where latte is the top choice, is Vermont. Yeah, I can see that. They're all tree huggers.
I wouldn't have guessed them.
Really? Who would you have guessed?
California came to mind immediately.
It was the first thing that came to my mind, too. California is the first thing that came to my mind. But when I think about it, Vermont, they're tree huggers. They wear their Birkenstocks, it's just, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a wonderful place to be. We spent a week or so up in Vermont a couple of years ago. But the top choice in Vermont, the latte. They prefer the latte. A few more quick coffee facts to share with you. Not surprisingly, coffee is a very popular drink. 70% of Americans do drink coffee. How many cups a day do you have, Diffie?
Usually 1.
On an average day. Just 1?
Yeah, or sometimes 2. 1 in the morning, and then depending on how the afternoon goes, like about 2 o'clock, if I need another one, I'll get another one. But my problem is I can't drink coffee like when it's time for dinner. Because if I do, like you were saying yesterday about the pop or the chocolate, not being able to sleep, that's how I am with coffee. If I drink it too late, I have a hard time getting to bed. So
I always have a cup of coffee with me in the morning. Sometimes I drink it as my primary choice. Sometimes as a little backup here at the home studio. Of course, you all know when I was out before COVID came and I would go to restaurants, I always had a cup of coffee after lunch. So probably in a non-COVID time, my average would be maybe 3 a day, 1 in the morning, probably 2 at lunchtime. But again, I go with decaf after my first cup because I go berserk if I have too much caffeine in me. 45% of Americans only have 1 cup of coffee a day. 49% have 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day. 6% of the people surveyed say they have at least 4 cups a day. And again, if I had 4, even decaf coffee, if I had 4 cups a day, I think I'd be going crazy. That's just a bit too much for me. Although I used to, as I've told on the air before, when I was in college, I would have up to like 10 pots of coffee a day. In early days at radio, the early days, when I did really, really early morning shifts, I would go through a couple of pots during the course of a radio show. But now, 1 cup in the morning, having it right now, drinking out of my Watchdog morning show, the coffee mug, which we got to start giving some of these away. Got them all ready to give away. And then COVID came, we didn't have too many giveaways, so I'm going to start giving those away. But anyways, I only have 1 in the morning and 1 later in the day. And by the way, about half of us make coffee at home. The other half have coffee someplace else. Average cup of coffee at a coffee shop. How much does it cost, Biffy? What do you think? The average cup of coffee at a coffee shop.
Like just a regular cup?
Yeah.
$1.90.
Yeah, a little bit higher than that. $3 the average cup. But keep in mind, that's because some folks go for the really high-end coffee. Some people have this $5, $50, $6 cup of coffee. To me, that's ridiculous. And then there are some people who still have coffee for a quarter or whatever. So, average cup of coffee costs in America $3. Now, if you take the average and you think about buying coffee once a day, 5 days a week, it costs us about $780 a year for our coffee. So there you go. Interesting enough, less than 1 in 5 people say they take advantage of free coffee at work. If somebody's got coffee around the office, not even any office. I'm one of these guys, by the way, you go to a meeting someplace or you go into somebody else's office and they go, would you like some coffee? Sure. Yes, I would. I think I'll have some of your coffee just because I want to steal some coffee from you. And the number one reason people drink coffee, Biff?
Energy.
Stay awake. Yep.
Yeah.
The number one reason we drink coffee is to stay awake. Number 2 is the flavor. So there you go, a little coffee conversation this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Well, we're going to talk about the color-coded maps again. We're going to talk about school in Ohio County, which is now adapting apparently next week to a full, meaning 4 days a week, still 1 day for cleaning. Going to get everybody back into the classroom. This split remote learning and remote learning and in-seat learning thing is going to come to an end in Ohio County. We'll talk about that. And I want to talk about this hurricane bar that is filing suit against the state for abusing the executive authority of the governor. And again, while I philosophically think that it is acceptable, appropriate, and necessary that from time to time our public health agencies, our public health officers, and our political officials impose executive order upon us, things like shutting businesses down and telling us you can only have so many people in a building and so on. I think that's important philosophically. I'm wondering if this hurricane bar may not be hitting on something, and that is Governor Justice specifically over abusing his power. So we'll get into all of that coming up. Pardon me. I can clearly need more coffee. We'll get into all of that coming up in the next half hour of the show. By the way, off the text line, how often do you get your hair cut at 304-214-1600? Every 4 weeks, says one of our listeners. even in this COVID year, every 4 weeks. So that's what I aim for. I don't make it that way. I'd like to hear from the rest of you as well. 304-214-1600. Guys, I mean, ladies, you're welcome to throw it in there, but I think men and women approach haircuts or beauty salons or whatever women call it, permanence. I don't know. What do women call when they go to get their hair done? They call it getting their hair done, right?
Hair appointment.
I'm going to get my hair done. That's why I'm going to get my hair done today. What does that mean, get your hair done? Anyway, so I'm really interested in men, just because I am one. How long do you wait between haircut appointments? 304-214-1600. Feel free to text me. But before we do anything else, why don't we do some headlines, Biffy? Our friends in the Big Seven are here. WTRF has got local news for us. Bill DeFabio is back after having been away for a while. So Bill's got our morning sports update coming up in this segment, and then we'll turn to the weather. And boy, I was looking at Zach's written forecast this morning on the Big Seven. The last Thursday of summer. So we have today's the last Thursday of summer. Jeez, the time keeps flying away. We'll talk about all of this coming up here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time.
Well, I didn't mean to spend an entire half hour on haircuts and coffee, but it happens. That's right. All right. No, I missed it.
Well, about 130 nominees were announced for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2021. 6 Steelers on that list. They are Heath Miller, Alan Faneca, Casey Hampton, and kicker Gary Anderson. Hey, be safe out there. Considerate and thoughtful of others. Please check on the elderly. I'm Bill DeFabio, and I'm part of the Watchdog team.
Over 2.
For 72 months on select new models. No payments until next year on select new models. And get a lifetime powertrain warranty, plus additional incentives for first responders and healthcare workers. Only at Thomas Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Get the best deal. Thomas Auto Center.
All Road, St. Clairsville.
Does your dog need groomed or walked? Are you looking for a pet sitter or dog boarding options? If so, call Dirty Paws, Wheeling's newest pet care service, providing the Ohio Valley with everyone's pet care needs. Check us out on Facebook at Dirty Paws WHG or call 304-639-7754.
Throughout the Ohio Valley, back to school is looking different. Each day, parents, teachers, students, coaches, and administrators are finding solutions to situations that are unprecedented. All of us at the Highlands appreciate everything you are doing and are here for the items you need. Visit hitthehighlands.com for the current guidelines and updated contact information of our retailers and restaurants.
From the Watchdog Network, right now traffic. Here's the latest from the Robinson Auto Group Traffic Center.
There are no traffic delays near the Highlands, on Washington Avenue, and on the Fort Henry Bridge. Traffic near the Ohio Valley Mall, on 70 and 470, and on State Route 7 is on its normal pattern. The full nightly closures of both I-470 eastbound from exit 2 to I-70 and westbound from I-470 to exit 2 will continue. The exit 2 westbound off-ramp and eastbound on-ramp at Bethlehem will continue to be closed intermittently. McCulloch Street under I-70 will continue to have single-lane closures. The closure of the on-ramp from US 250 north to I-70 westbound will continue. The Market Street overpass width reduction will continue. The single-lane closures on Route 2 under I-70 will continue. I-70 construction will continue westbound where crossovers are in effect. And all existing detours and closures will continue for the I-70 Bridges project. Follow Ohio Valley Traffic Report on Facebook, WTRF 7 News, and the Watchdog for updates.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster. Weather look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Under partly sunny skies, temperatures are near 75 for the daytime high, near 52 for the overnight reading under partly cloudy conditions. We'll call it a breezy, cooler day under mostly sunny skies for your Friday, with highs near 66. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
Tune into Marshall County's second favorite son, Donnie Gilbert, Fridays from noon to 2 on the Valley's only network dedicated to live and local talk radio, The Watchdog. WKKX and WVLY. Voted coolest couple in their high school yearbook. Give us a call and tell us what you're thinking. Locally, 304-214-1600. Out of the area, toll free, 866-514-1600 or 304-232-TALK.
Miss a part of the show? Want to hear a segment again? Check out our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
55 degrees and foggy here at my home studios, and it is 7:38, 22 till the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. You may remember back in, I think it was early to mid-July, we talked a bit about a bar, restaurant in Hurricane, West Virginia called the Bridge Cafe and Bistro. They had put a Facebook post up saying that their employees and their customers were not required to follow the governor's mandate. They would not insist their employees wear a mask. They were allowing their employees to go maskless even though there was a mask order in place. It, of course, went viral across the state, which then prompted the health department to show up and say, well, here's the deal. If you're going to not follow the guidelines, we're going to shut you down. After conversing with the health department, the Bridge Bar and Cafe did decide that they would insist on masks, and they did. They paid, I think it was a $50. It's not a fine. They paid $50 for the inspection fee for the health officers to come and do the inspection and then to re-inspect them a little bit later. So they paid $100 or so, and they were excoriated by many people in social media. They have now filed a lawsuit. They have filed a lawsuit against the state of West Virginia, asking a federal judge to find the mask mandate and the stay-at-home order unconstitutional and unenforceable. They say they're being harassed by the government for their beliefs. And I think that may be where they get into some trouble. The lawsuit says the state violates their First Amendment rights to free speech, as well as their 14th Amendment right to due process. Now, I am by no means an attorney. We all know where I get my legal information from, Biff.
Law and Order.
I get all that I know about the law from Law and Order. Well, I absorb some from some of the people around us at the radio station who are a little smarter than I am as far as legal experts go. So I'm purely just a layman here. But it seems to me that they're going to have a tough time making an argument that they were shut down for freedom of speech. They were not shut down for what they said. They were shut down for what they did, which was follow up on the things they said they were going to do in freedom of speech. They're using their speech. They said we're not going to enforce the mask mandate, and it's not for saying that they got in trouble. It is for not doing it that got in trouble. The fact that they said it prompted the government then to come and take a look at things, and that's where I don't think their due process was violated either, because again, the health inspectors showed up, did an inspection, discovered they weren't using the masks, gave them, I forget what the time period was, 24 hours, 48 hours, to correct it, and came back and did it again. So it seems to me they did indeed have due process, and it seems to me they were not being punished for freedom of expression. They could say, we're not going to let anybody wear a mask. But if they do it, so the difference between what you think, what you say, which is protected as speech, and what you do when it's against the law, to me, is a big difference. Breaking the law, you may consider it to be, or regulations, or government orders, or whatever you want to call it. Breaking government regulations may, in your mind, be the right thing to do. And you may be expressing yourself in a sense, but I don't think it's protected speech. What we have learned over and over and over again, that if you have every right to say certain things, but you also have to face the consequences of that. So I'm not sure that they've got this lawsuit on point. Now, having said that, however, I think that this lawsuit, another one recently filed down in Kanawha County by an attorney parent, raised the question of whether or not Governor Justice's orders are being fairly implemented. Are they discriminatory to certain types of businesses, certain individuals, and not to others? Examples, and it's not the world's best example, but just this week the question was raised, how come WVU can play football, but Montague County high school students cannot play football? Is that discriminatory on the face of it? And that's an issue that a parent who is an attorney has brought in a lawsuit down in Charleston. I also think, so number one, I do think there's some questions about whether or not the governor's orders are being enforced equally. And in number two, I think, comes the question, which we've talked about and got no answers to on this show, how long can he keep enforcing these executive orders? So we'll see how this thing goes. I wanted to bring it to your attention. We talked about this Bridge Cafe and Bistro back in July. They've now brought a suit against it. Now, again, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know, but it seems to me that the approach they're taking probably will not succeed. They say, the Bridge Cafe says they have continued to comply with health department orders despite their strongly felt beliefs against them. And again, you and I have every right to disagree with the law. And we have every right to engage in civil disobedience peacefully, and refuse to follow the law. But we also then have to accept the consequences of it. You can't just ignore laws. You can't ignore regulations and claim that, well, I don't believe in them, therefore, otherwise a murderer would say, I don't believe that killing is bad. It's my freedom of expression to kill someone. So we'll see. I wanted to bring that to your attention. And now I've taken too long. Poor Zach, he's always waiting for me instead of me getting to him on an appropriately quick time frame. From the Big 7, WTRF TV, Zach is here. Good morning, Zach.
Well, good morning, Howard. How are you today?
I'm sorry for getting to you late again. I give you a chance to get an extra cup of coffee, I guess, during my conversation.
All good, no worries here.
We've been talking about haircuts this morning, and you're a guy who pays a lot of attention to his appearance. A, you have to because you're on TV, and B, we can just tell you care about your suits, you care about the way you look. How often do you get a haircut?
I get a haircut every month, so every 4 weeks I go down to our hair and makeup sponsor, Cloud9, down into Martins Ferry, and they do a fantastic job.
Okay, I do about it. I try in non-COVID years, let's put it that way. I normally would try and get a haircut about every 4 weeks.
Right.
Unfortunately, this year, because of COVID, yesterday was only my second haircut of the entire year.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I'm bringing it up is, once I looked at myself on the video screen here this morning, my God, I look so weird. I look so thin and sallow because I had this big, wild man from Montana beard yesterday that was fluffy and out there, kind of a Santa Claus beard. And now it's all gone tight around my chin. Oh, I don't like the way I look at all. And Biff and I got talking about how often do you get a haircut. So normally I'm about you every 4 weeks, but this year it's been, yesterday was only my second one of the entire year. And now I feel like I look weird.
It took me whenever I was... Oh, go ahead.
Nope, you go ahead.
Oh, so whenever the COVID situation broke out, I probably got a haircut at the end of February, and then I went 3 months. And I tell you, I looked completely different. Yes, I still had shorter hair, and whenever I was actually interviewing for this position, I told Brenda whenever I was interviewing with her, saying, excuse the hair, I just haven't had time to get the haircuts. I didn't know anyone who was like a personal hairdresser who I could just go over to their house. But again, most of the orders in western Pennsylvania, through the entire state, were a little harsher in terms of allowing the hair salons and such to open up. So it took me until the midpoint of May to get my hair cut, and I look like a completely different person. So I know exactly what you're talking about in terms of just looking different, because you haven't seen yourself looking like that in a long time.
Exactly, and again, my beard in particular had gotten to be so big, like I say, it was almost a Santa Claus type beard, and now it's all gone. Now it's just tight around my chin, and although I got a text from a listener, Biffy, one of our listeners texted me and said, it makes you look younger, Howard. I don't think it does. I think it makes me look older. I look like Skeletor.
Oh, no.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't like. I'm not fond of looking at myself, anyways. But I certainly am not pleased looking at myself on the screen today. And the other thing I noticed, just real quick, is that because my face is so different, and it's less attention to my face because the beard is gone and so on. I'm paying more attention to the way I'm actually dressed, and my shirt is all wrinkled, and man, I just look like a mess. Good news is, unlike you, you actually have to look good on TV. I don't have to look good on our video feeds. For people that want to they can live with me the way I am.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach, let's talk about the weather. Sorry to keep you wandering on other subjects, but let's talk about the weather. I think the one thing that hit me as I was reading your forecast this morning is the very first words that you put out there. The last Thursday of summer 2020.
Yep.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, it makes you sit there, scratch your head, saying, well, where did the time go? I mean, in some areas, it kind of feels like it dragged on, 2020 itself, but certainly feels like you said, the 100 days of summer from Memorial Day to Labor Day, it certainly kind of feels like it went by rather quickly. And in terms of those temperatures, we're noticing today's going to be the last, I'd call it in quotation, warm day, with near seasonable high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. It's just going to be a little gray and dreary. We're noticing foggy conditions in and around the Ohio Valley right now to kick things off this Thursday. And then mostly cloudy conditions are expected into our afternoon. We have an approaching cold front that's going to certainly drop our temperatures as we head into the the last summer weekend of 2020. We will struggle to get out of the upper 60s for high temperatures, but it'll be picturesque looking, don't get me wrong. It's just going to be certainly chillier compared to what it has been. Expected highs again struggling to get out of the upper 60s for highs. Lows will plummet to the low 40s. Fall will certainly be in the air as we head into this weekend.
Yesterday was one of those days. Part of me felt like I almost needed a jacket a couple of times, but then part of me says, no, it's just too early. I'm not going to put a jacket on, but or I don't have a sweater, but some light covering. I felt like I needed one a couple of times, but I wasn't going to. It's just the seasons are definitely changing. And it's interesting. The year has gone slowly in many ways because of COVID, as you pointed out, Zach. But it really has been the tail end of summer that we just didn't seem to have at all. We began to wrap up summer, and then it was like here we are, summer's over. I mean, there's usually a few weeks where you feel like you're sucking out the last morsels of summer. Yep. But they went by too quickly. They just went by too quickly for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, in terms of temperatures, we kind of had a little bit of a transition into fall earlier this week. We warmed up a little bit, but in terms of those last morsels, it looks like today's going to be your last morsel of any, I guess, like I keep saying in quotation, warm temperatures. But I know what you're saying. We didn't have like a nice, steady 2-week decline to kind of prepare ourselves, but hopefully we don't have, again, like we talked earlier this week, hopefully we don't go flip-flopping in terms of seeing summertime heat in the midpoint of October once we get there. Just as long as we stay on course and stay on par with what the season is, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. The rest of the week, as you point out, cooler will be in the 60s after today. And 40s at night, yikes, but at least no rain the rest of the week. Basically no rain, right?
No rain expected for the foreseeable future. Long-term models are indicating dry weather patterns continuing on all the way into next weekend, and I wanted to re-fact check myself. The last measured precipitation we had was this past Sunday at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, so we're going to be upwards of a week plus of dry weather throughout the Ohio Valley. So it looks like you're going to still need to water the gardens and the grasses, but you might not have to do so as much with the sun baking it at least. So that's a positive note, right?
Yep, it is. And then next Tuesday, Wednesday, officially the autumnal equinox and the official end of summer, right?
Next Tuesday at 9:10 in the morning is the technical term whenever we have our equal day nighttime.
What time? 10:10 in the morning, you said?
9:10.
9:10, okay.
Yes.
So, Biffy, at 9:10 next Tuesday, we'll all go outside and wave goodbye to summer. Goodbye, summer! Goodbye! Goodbye!
I'll join you with that. I'll be doing our Facebook Live at 9:10. I'll join you with that.
There you go. You have there's a goodbye wave to summer at that point. All right, Zach, I appreciate your help this morning. As always, thanks so much. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you later. We'll see you.
Thanks, appreciate it. From the Big 7, WTF TV, Zach Petty. He's a good guy. I've always... Well, you never know when you get the new folks coming in, Biffy, if they're going to, meld with us or not. Emily and I had such a good relationship there for, 4 years or whatever it was. I get nervous when somebody new comes in. But Zach is he's picked up the gauntlet and done quite well. He's a fun addition to our morning show.
Yes, he has. He just keeping on going.
And he rolls with my punches, which is really, I know, I said this before. Early on, I mentioned to Brenda Dainhardt over the Big 7 that, he seems to have gotten the hang of working with me. And Brenda said, oh, yes, we all have had to learn to get the hang of working with you. So, all right, 6 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. We've talked several days in a row, Biffy, about the NFL games. And in particular about the crowd noises they've had to use because the stands have been relatively minor number of fans in there, not because nobody wants to go to the game, because they're not allowed to go to the game. But apparently, and only two NFL teams, the Chiefs and the Jaguars, had fans in their stadiums for week number one. You know how much money they're losing? I'm talking purely revenue lost, or they anticipate revenue loss from a lack of fans on the stands. Any idea how much money they're losing?
I'm guessing it's probably, if not in the billions, close to it.
It's not in the billions, but it is many, many millions. Here's the Dallas Cowboys, as an example, say they will lose $77 million per game, or $616 million over their 8 home games this year. Wow. So 6 teams have now said they're going to allow more fans or some fans in the stands, or in a couple of cases, more fans in the stands. And again, the main reason is money. This information comes, by the way, from Forbes magazine. The biggest loser in terms of fan income are the Cowboys, $77 million per game. Number 2, the Patriots, losing $39 million per game because they don't have fans in the stands. New York Giants come in next at $32 million, Houston Texans at $27 million, and the New York Jets at $27 million as well. Now, how do they lose money? Well, obviously the ticket sales, but we're talking about concessions and parking, merchandising, and T-shirts, and then the sponsors too. That have the big banners all around the fields and so on. They ain't paying for the usual price when there's nobody in the stands.
Well, and you got to remember. So you got to remember too. I think, at least I can think of, almost every. See, I don't think Chicago is. I think it's just still Soldier Field. But I think other than them, and maybe 1 or 2 other ones, almost every other stadium is sponsored. That's the name of their stadium. It's some spot. I mean, look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's Heinz Field.
Right.
Cleveland. I think it's theirs is a hospital. Green Bay's not. Green Bay's just Lambeau Field. But I mean, most of them are. The one in New York, I think, is MetLife Stadium. So I mean, there's not too many that don't have a sponsor.
And if I'm a sponsor, I'm saying to myself, okay, yes, I will get the value of the play-by-play announcers talking about the name of my stadium on TV and on radio, but I'm not getting to put my impressions in front of hundreds of thousands of fans every week. Instead, it's in front of, I forget, one team had 17,000, I think, this week. That was, I forget who it was that had that. That number sticks in my head. That was the number of fans they had there. So several teams are looking to add more. The Cincinnati Bengals had no fans in their opener. They're going to allow 6,000 people into the stands for the next 2 games. Denver Broncos say they'll allow 5,700 fans in for their next game. Indianapolis Colts are only going to let 2,500 fans in. Miami Dolphins going bigger, 13,000 fans. And I have no sense of where this came from. The info I have comes from Forbes magazine, but how in the world the Cleveland Browns came up with this number? Cleveland Browns are going to allow, are you ready for this, Biff?
Yes.
6,789 people in.
I'm guessing that's...
What are they going to do? Have a guy there with one of those clickers and just, I'm sorry, you're 6,787, 88, 89. Stop right there. Nobody else comes in. Where did that number come from?
Actually, I think that's... I don't know what their full capacity is, but I bet that's either like 15 or 20% of what the capacity for the stadium is.
I think you're probably right. It's probably a percentage of the actual... Yeah, it's probably a percentage of the actual full capacity there. So I guess I somewhat said you were wrong, but actually I think you were right when you said a loss of $1 billion or more across the league. It would be well over $1 billion if you look at the Cowboys themselves losing $616 million over the course of the season. That's just one team, and you add the rest of those up, it would be into the $1 billion plus loss just because you can't have fans in the stands. And we tend to just worry because, we don't like watching it without the fans and don't like those crowd noises and so on. But I guess it's a pretty big financial hit to these big teams. I got a couple other NFL stories to get to coming up a little bit later on, and we're going to talk about homelessness and wheeling coming up next after we check in with ABC right now.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
So contradictory.
All right, Biffy, I'll be back in a minute.